I've got my Delta Flyer out.
Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Broadcast UGC episode 9. I'm Galactrix and I have with me my co-host Bazag.
Good morning everyone, or evening, or good night, depending on where you are in the world.
Yep, and also we've got guests this week. We've got Altexist.
Good evening.
And we've got Cerberusfilms.
Hello.
Yep.
So this week Alt is the author. We're going to do his mission Maelstrom, and Serb's just a random tag along.
I was bored, what can I say?
And this has been my incredibly frustrated mission that I've had, because this one was seriously damaged. I'm going to give you my history of this mission. Do you want a little author feedback on it, or the history of it?
Yeah.
This mission was actually the first mission I made on Tribble, called Stolen Glory. And then I ported it over before, just about when Season 4 was being done, and I wanted to add some of the cool stuff that you guys started to do on missions, were optional paths on it, sort of get it so it wasn't such a classic or standard mission. But it, just as I finished it, Season 4 hit and totally borked it for such a long time. And then Component Complete, which you sort of need to do any kind of alternate pathing, story flow, was borked on it, and the mission's been unpublished for like 3 months. And I finally have published it now, but I still have a pathing issue on the last map, so I'm still kind of frustrated with it, and haven't done this final paths of tweaking on it. But it's in good shape now. But let's take a look at it when you guys are ready.
Yep, let's go in.
Alright, so do you want to read? I'll take the mission and I'll read up the rant.
The introduction? Yep, go for it.
Yep. Ship, you have been ordered to Starbase 114 in the Solar System to pick up Dr. Robert Maelstrom and his team. You are to transport Maelstrom and his equipment to his new laboratory facility at Tazi 4. 6, actually. I should get my Roman numerals correct. Tazi 6. Vice Admiral Dr. Maelstrom is on the verge of a breakthrough in tachyon waveform generation. If his theories are correct, the Federation can see a new power source that will make antimatter reactors look like light bulbs and will shift the balance of power in this sector.
That would be nice.
Encoded within this transmission are the power requirements for Dr. Maelstrom's equipment. Dr. Maelstrom can be demanding. Do what you can to make the Doctor comfortable and transport him safely from Starbase 114 in the Solar System to the Tazi system. Starfleet out. Well, I suppose there's an option in the dialogue for mission author's notes. Did you just basically read those out before?
No, you know what I did is, if you go through the mission author's note, it's an author's note from me, and I took this sort of cue from Nemesis Chicken, who puts that in a couple of his missions. And what it basically says is, hey, I've kind of worked hard on this mission, and occasionally there are bugs, and they're normally outside of my control, like falling through floors and things like, or crashing to the client. And those are usually Cryptic's faults. I didn't quite say it this way. I mean, you could read through them. And I was like, please give constructive feedback. I'm I'm willing to change it. And it's funny, once I did that, and because I did post that about the time where missions were getting really borked, some people have sort of said that, missions got a bug, falling through floor. I found that people were a little bit more receptive and not willing to one-star you, saying that this is just junk. I can't believe it. They get that we as the authors don't control everything in the game. We don't do the coding of the game or some of the maps that we can't customize it. So, and I think a lot of players don't get that at all. They think that if you fall through the floor, that's the author's part. You didn't do a good job. And I'd recommend it. If anyone wants to cut and paste that text out of mine, feel free to use it. It's kind of a generic, but I think it's worthwhile. I wish that Cryptic would put into the interface the ability for authors to have this little note that would be out of character that said, hey, this is a mission that's going to take you 6 hours and it's going to be reading 10 paragraphs. Don't get involved in it unless you're ready for that.
Okay, well, let's get start the map now. Woody Valley says in the chat we need to keep you on a leash, Old.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot to talk about. There wasn't a podcast this week, so... Okay, I've got a guy saying, USS ship, this is Starbase Control, you're clear to approach. Welcome to Starbase 114. Dr. Maelstrom is waiting for you.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Now, who out of us has played it before, apart from Alt, obviously?
Over and over again to test it.
Over and over again. I've played it before. I've even played the Stolen Glory version that was on Tribble before. I've played this version multiple times as well. I helped you test it out, I think. How about you?
I don't think I've played it.
No, you haven't played it?
I haven't played it either, so
Although I did play something for you at one point, didn't I, Alt? Like months and months ago.
I think so. This is probably it. I was tweaking it. Yeah. One of the things I tried to do here, I think this is the map, if I remember correctly, and I have to go back. This is actually where Starbase 114 is. This is the map for Starbase 114. It's one of the missions you get. And I like that.
The launch goes into that nebula cloud you can see ahead after you...
There's more than one mission on Starbase 114. There's the one where you chase the Ferengi Nandi ship into that nebula cloud over there. And there's another one where you beam down and there's some kind of mystery where the Andorian commander is tricking us because he's working for the Orion Syndicate or something.
I absolutely loved that. Because it was the first place we had two missions in the same place, and it was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Right, it gave the place's character, and that's why I wanted to sort of go back to that, just as it was a spot that was in the story. I wanted my mission to tie into the rest of the Stowe story arc, and so I wish the interface for the Foundry was a couple of changes things. I love Thomas the Cat's original interface for sectors, or if you go back to his website, you'll see it where it would put like patrols. Now you go up to the sector, it'll say, or they're going to, there's a patrol here. I would love it if it also told you there's a Foundry mission that starts here. Like all these times when you get a hail, hey, I'm getting a distress call from the Badlands when I'm in Romulan space. Man, what receptors we have on it. It'd be kind of cool for you to start the system by going in the Badlands and going, sir, I'm picking up a mission. I'm in the Badlands. What can I play here? And this will start a mission. All right, I'm going to let you guys start. I don't know do we read all the text? Do you guys read it or?
Yeah, we read it out. It's good. Cool.
We try to.
We want you to read Dr. Maelstrom, because whenever I see Dr. Maelstrom, I think, that's Altexist.
Well, I don't know if it actually is. And the truth is, what I've been meaning to do is get this mission finished and do voices on this mission. I wanted to get a group of people, all of us at Starbase UGC and some of the guys at Caspian Division, to record MP3s and then post it so that you could play it as you played the mission. So we would have these voiceovers. So I guess I could do... but I've been waiting. This mission has been unpublished for so many months that I haven't had a chance to finish it or start to make sure everything was worthwhile.
Well, that's actually coming with what we're doing as well. Just to say.
Oh, is that the thing you're talking about? The epic thing that you were talking about with the?
That's
the Maelstrom is hailing us. Let's just move on.
All right. Well, it's only about time. I've been waiting here for more than 47 minutes. I'm on an extraordinary tight schedule. Vice Admiral, I'm not sure you understand the importance of my work, nor the complexities of tachyon wave mechanics. I've already placed my waveforms samples into stasis, and they will only remain viable for 74 hours. If they decay, 5 years of work and possibly the greatest step forward since warp engines will be lost. This will be an enormous loss, all due to your tardiness.
I understand, Dr. Maelstrom.
I'm not really sure that you do fully understand, Vice Admiral. I trust that you received my technical requirements.
Yes, the cargo bays are ready.
Cargo bays. This is the best Starfleet can provide. Again, given your lateness, I suppose that arguing this with you will only waste more my time. Suffices to say, I'm the most unhappy with the location for my equipment, and I plan to lodge a formal complaint with Starfleet Science Operations. Very well, Vice Admiral. We are ready for transport.
Okay, stand by to energize.
All right.
It wasn't our fault.
We
We
have
waited
back-
for 47 minutes. We were just out there chatting.
That's probably why we were chatting outside. Now, do you guys read the other stuff? I'm only reading my Maelstrom then.
Yeah, I'll read this one. Sir, the transport is complete. However, due to the sensitivity of Dr. Maelstrom and his equipment, I think we should take this opportunity to personally inspect the cargo to make sure everything is secure before we depart. Besides, the opportunity to meet Dr. Maelstrom in person is a great honor. Not only has he won the Daystrom Award 3 times, he is the only non-Vulcan to be awarded the Vulcan Scientific Legion of Honor.
So let's go down there. So how many? I think we need a medic. I think.
I've got a medical kit.
Okay. Cool.
Now, on that one with that line where you've been 47 minutes late, I had never realized, it never made the connection that the 47 tie into Star Trek. It was
Really?
completely random number that I put in.
That's
So
cool.
somebody else pointed it out to me.
Yeah, I think I pointed it out actually because there was this thread about the 47 conspiracy and how it pops up everywhere. Even Club 47, you got
Yes.
47 minutes and everything.
It was completely coincidental on my part. I had not been tuned into that in Star Trek or
I think
or
you might
anything
have been
before.
watching
You were
lots of
channeling
Voyager
it just
episodes
subconsciously.
because they say it a lot in Voyager, especially
Yes.
subliminally.
I was like, what? No,
You've
this is
just become a part of the conspiracy, old.
I think so. No, this is my weird thing about Foundry missions. Like, this is my, cargo bay. But everyone's here. This is the problem with Foundry missions that are teamed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you guys lead the way.
Yeah, this is the cargo bay of the USS Threatening, but it's also the cargo bay of your other ships. So we've got a little temporal spatial anomaly going on.
Where everyone's on everyone else's ship. All right, so you've got to find the assistant.
This
There
just
we go.
isn't my cargo bay. It really isn't. The ceilings are too high.
I'll read this one. Vice Admiral, it is a pleasure to meet you. Your engineering staff has just completed tying our tachyon stasis containers to your ship's power system. Thank you for taking us to our new laboratory facility. Our requirements were becoming too much for the starbase. I know that Dr. Maelstrom's personality is a bit of an acquired taste, but he is one of the greatest minds of our time. I am sure he will be remembered with the likes of Einstein, Cochrane and Surak. Give it some time, Vice Admiral. I'm sure his brilliance will become apparent to you.
I would like to do a final inspection.
We have followed all of Starfleet's safety protocols, but I guess it is acceptable to have one more check. Please be sure to check in with Dr. Maelstrom. He's in Cargo Bay 2. I am sure he'll want to have a word with you.
I'm certain that you will.
So now you got to hit these, you got to do a little scan, a little pan and scan, nothing like a scan. You can't do a Foundry mission without scan 5 objects.
No,
Now, I will admit,
let's see,
one of the little things I wanted to do is get some of the idle chatter of some of these scientists instead of just scanning. I didn't get a chance to do that. And the truth is, I wanted to be able to have a little secret thing. Like if you you might go find a crew member who might give you a little spoiler into the story a little bit further. That's the kind of detail pass I want to make on this mission.
No, the status containers are in a different part of the map, so I'm totally in the wrong place.
Yes, we've got to go to cargo bay 2.
Never understood why the captains would jog through a hallway. Sure, just walk calmly and serenely.
Well, I do have my walk mapped. Yes, walking down to the cargo bay 2. Because it takes longer to level up now. Everyone's going to be running. Free launches. You've got to move from... I'm sure they'll charge you dilithium to run from now on. Everyone. That's true. Why do they not just defaultly set it to walk so that people actually move a little slower?
Okay, amazing. The formulas are so simple and elegant. It is brilliant. So much energy contained in such simple waveforms, yet everything is stable.
As long as everything is contained.
Well, I guess that'll be a part of the mission. Things won't be contained.
Dr. Maelstrom, you're here finally, Vice Admiral. So I'm not planning to be here very long. I will tolerate these accommodations. I trust we're ready to move along now. Remember, I'm on an extremely tight schedule.
Captain to bridge. Status report.
Okay, bridge to captain, all stations reporting in. We're ready to get underway.
On my way to the bridge.
A killer Foundry thing, which I can't stand. I've got to beam back to my bridge. You beamed into it. Why could we not set the animation from one transfer to another?
Maybe we'll have to pay to be able to beam back. Maybe if we don't pay, we'll just be able to take a turbo lift. See, saves time.
But the ability to set the animation out from map to map would be so brilliant. Imagine if you could Q flash or the flame out, or just not flash at all.
But
just
you
do a
found that
cutscene.
they were baked into the map, the transitions.
They are baked into the map because I remember when they first came out, you were doing it and weren't doing it, the warp-in effect. So they clearly are a part of the mapping system. And it would be great to be able to set it.
I seem to remember it's something like that at one point in Redshirt, but then it was taken out because it was buggy. Like, really buggy.
USS Brittany, this is Starbase Control. You have been cleared to depart.
Thanks, Starbase Control.
Let's get out of here. Course laid into Tazi 6, sir.
Engage.
Now, some people have given me bad criticism about having this map, and I think I have another map, which is just sort of a push the story along map. I mean, I end up chewing up, like 3 maps at the very least, just to get the story going before you start killing somebody. You know, I kind of think Cryptic should, follow into that. It was one of the things that always bothered me. Is like you entered into patrol and there was like Gorn ships. Here's the thing that bugs me about Stowe, and I wish they would add this with the free-to-play, a hail button. Did you notice that? There's no button to hail the other ship.
Yeah, you just attack them.
And I tried to cover this in my mission, but there were so many patrols where you enter, and it's like you don't hail them and say, "Hey, I'm Starfleet. I'm the sheriff in town. You really should leave," and them give you some hyperbole and they sort of call you names, and then you can start shooting them. But it was always just
but it is war.
You have to get called a name before you can actually start shooting. That's the rule of Star Trek.
Right, that's the rule of Star Trek.
But what happened in DS9? Did they hail every single Dominion vessel that they were about to attack?
Well, but that's deep in war. And there was, but the Orion Pirates, is there official war with them declared?
Because they're aligned with the Klingons.
But here it's even. All right, let's keep going. I don't know.
So we're picking up a distress signal.
Oh, sorry, I skipped. Whoops.
On screen. This is the USS Raymond, orbit of Donia 4, under attack. Klingon warships. weapons offline, shields out, and you shield. When you assist us under attack, assist us.
Yes, another thing I want, static. I want a static thing where someone talks, it would play static over their headshot.
Oh yeah, the costume, yeah.
So I've lost the transmission. And there's two options, tactical report or set course for the Raymond maximum warp.
Tactical report.
Yeah.
Okay, our records show that the Raymond is an Olympic-class research science vessel currently on assignment in Donia's system, conducting a geological survey of the system's planetary bodies. She has limited armaments. They are no match for a prolonged attack. The Donia system is half a light year away.
Set course for the Raymond maximum warp.
Vice Admiral, I must object. Your top priority of this mission is to deliver me to Talos 6. Everything else can wait.
My priority is to rescue the crew of that ship.
Course laid in, sir.
Could I just very quickly point out, it's not through the mission, but on TTS, someone's just asked, how do you re-exploit Foundry now? And someone just replied, do first 3 times.
Do first.
Is that like a mission?
Think so.
Well, there must be a console clicker.
I hate those. They're just filling out all the hot lists.
Was it on Tribble?
It could be on
Pardon?
Tribble, actually.
Yeah, because that one on Tribble was basically just a quick dialogue where the furry diplomat says something about having too many vice admirals.
Wow.
Now I'm wondering if they are going to get rid of console clickers, if they figured out a way to get rid of that. You know, there is a thing now where if you shoot more than 30 mobs, you will no longer get experience points anymore.
Well, they said something about clearing them out in F2P, but I'm not sure.
I'm going to... Okay.
Yep, sir. Sensors are showing multiple Klingon contacts.
Hail them.
No use. They are jamming all frequencies. Several Klingon warships are now closing in on attack vectors.
You see,
Shields
Cryptic? Was that so hard to do?
Yeah.
That's all you
Just
gotta
3
do.
seconds.
All you gotta do is just pretend to say that you're gonna try to hail them. You know, because that just seemed to me Starfleet. Every Starfleet captain would at least try to broker a little peace. Now, I will say, Foundry missions do take on a different idea when it is a larger group. The battles do become much more epic. On Tipping Point, I've had people say the final battle becomes epic with a full group.
Oh, I just did.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
That is a hell of a lot of necrons.
That's happening.
I actually do not have the sound on, so it's. I find it. Oh, we pulled an extra group, by the way. That's probably why. There's
Nah, I think that was me, sorry. Being very
There's
well.
3 groups. There's 3 groups, and they're pretty tight. But I mean, I don't like to have a group on top of you, so they start ramming you. But this is a Foundry problem. How close do you set up the groups so it seems like they're swarming in you? You walk into an attack, but still don't let you walk into an attack. You know, if I had 3 mobs that were all within the 10 kilometer radius, it would just be a pain if you were flying this with a squishy assault, cruiser. So I try to make it. I suppose I could do them each one warped in after each other with component complete. But then again, that wasn't working for so long.
And even if you did that, as you made it a mission objective, you can't have them warp in one at a time.
We could have a mob walk in. I mean, you could have. That's a good question.
You
I
kind
suppose
of
you
time it with do a sort of a trigger time type thing.
No, you could do it with a 3rd mob. If you had 3 mobs, this is 3 mobs we're fighting right now. If you had 3 mobs, the first one is there at about, I would put it about 9 kilometers out or 10 kilometers out. And then the second one would warp in, would be a component complete after the first mob was killed, which I have to say, one of you guys told me how that worked. I had no clue that you could make a mob a component that is complete.
Yep.
Yeah,
I told
you can do it normally, but as you've made it a story objective, the only options is when immediately or when the objective is in progress.
Okay, talking to the USS Raymond. There's no response. The ship has taken heavy damage. Sensors indicate multiple biosigns on board and that their communication system is offline, as are their weapons and shield systems. Sir, I'm picking up an escalating energy reading from their engine room. It's the warp core. It's overloading. 3 options. Awaiting,
I'm stroking my
beam
beard.
out, or access the core and eject. Which one do you think we should choose?
I think my operations officer's up to it. Should we try and eject the core?
Yeah, well, we'll try.
Let's go for eject the core.
Access the Raymond's computer and eject the core.
Establishing data link. Negative, sir. The Raymond's communication system is still down. We have no access to a computer. We need to shut down the core manually. Prepare and awaiting.
Awaiting.
See, it would be great if you had, I mean, this is the whole function of the engine, if you had the ability to, have the core blow up or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, unfortunately, all the dialogues are going to have to send you to the same thing. I mean, basically, if you tried the other thing to beam on, you'd get too much radiation in the way if you tried to do it. So you have to go over to the ship anyway to fix it. And this is why I wanted to add some extra stuff to this. Are we waiting for something? I'm excited.
For Serb.
Oh, there we go. It's like you have to beam over to the ship. And unfortunately, when this mission was made, saving ships were kind of novel. Everyone saves the ship now. So this whole idea of beaming into the warp engine, I want, is kind of cliche. By how many ships have we saved in Foundry missions by beaming over to the engine room? This map I did want to change. I wanted to,
SEO in general, how many have we saved? Plenty of missions where you do that.
I did want to make some changes to this map. I wanted, because right now when you beam in, pretty much everyone's dead or unconscious. I wanted to add another character. I wanted you to beam in and find a crewman panicking or assistant chief an ensign panicking, because it's like you beam over and you just all of a sudden you know what to do. I wanted you to come in here and find some guy, peeing his pants, going, I don't know what to do. And he sort of tell you got to turn off the antimatter injectors, but I don't know where they are. I don't know what's going on, and sort of add another character here.
I think that would be a good idea.
That's one of my plans. And also this map does have the ability, as you do from the original, as you turn things off, these plasma jets should be turning off. Yeah, most of them have turned off.
That did it. The warp core and pressure are back to acceptable levels. We should hail the ship and get some repair teams over here before we lose life support. Prepare to beam engineering and medical teams to...
Continue.
Pathetic! Starfleet commanders are as predictable as a tar during mating season. Vice Admiral, while you're saving your feeble boat full of scientists, I was able to beam over to your ship. After I'm done slaughtering your crew, I'll take your new tachyon weapon and leave you to die without honor on that miserable wreck.
I have a decent security team. How did that happen?
Well,
I mean, my guy's
right.
Starfleet intelligence. Come on.
Wait. I've been criticized on this, and I try to explain it before. I will say I wanted to add a scene in here where you as the captain say, "No, save my ship, take me." I wanted to throw that total Kirk thing in, and then have him say, "Well, Captain, you want to die with honor. I'll let you die with. You obviously are a captain of honor. You can die with honor. I'll let you die with honor." And then a Klingon assault team would beam in, and then you could have a little pew pew. Because I'm realizing we're like 5 or 6 maps in, and we've only had a little bit of pew pew. So I was going to throw that in, but I haven't edited that part of it yet.
That'd be nice.
Well, we're not out of this yet. If we can route enough auxiliary power to the ship's transporter room, I can get that system back online and beam us back to the ship.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Now this is the time when you
Reactive
can...
EPS.
See, now this would be a great way where I'd love the system where if you could take bridge officers and like have them go from it. No, it's over this down here. It's one of those map things where you think it is. This would be a great way where you have to have a bridge officer. One person goes one where. I mean, that would be great. Like one BOF has to go to this console. This is from whose mission was it the other night? It was Serb's mission the other night. Where
Yeah, mine.
Bridge officers. What if there were components that could be only completed or achievements completed? Is it like the Davidian, not the Davidian, the Breen
The
map,
Romulan one.
where somebody was sitting in a spot? So if you had to say, engineers stay at one console, this has to person at one console, another console, then we could get it all working. That would make this sort of sound, this whole map seem better.
Someone's waiting on a map transfer.
It's not me.
Sorry, that was me. That was me. Shoot.
Tut tut. Yeah, it would be great if we could do that. If we could actually force them to leave BOFs in certain places.
Then, right, and then make bridge officers be like more, it's seen more Star Trek. Because a lot of people complained that, and I never realized this until I saw someone talk about it, that in Star Trek, all the episodes are broken down into two stories, where one crew is doing one thing and another group is doing another thing. Mm-hmm. And I had sort of forgotten that.
I hate Klingons if I have one. This has just lowered my review for it, by the way.
Oh, that went pretty fast. I have to say, I like fighting Klingons. I like having Klingons in the mission. It seems so much more Trek than having... See, I don't like the Breen or the DS9 battle stuff. I was not as much into DS9. So to me, I want to fight Klingons and Romulans. That's where I want to go with it. I always think it's more fun.
Go, Halsey, go! Go! Kill him! Oh.
Free Horta from Serb's tyranny.
He's my friend.
Order for Dorf.
Woo! Die!
I do like these. What are these pulse rifles? I've not been using them before. Somebody recommended them to me. I do think I'll need to get some emblems and buy a nice one before the free-to-play transition.
Mm-hmm. I like these, like a shotgun.
Yes, I had not used them before.
I've become a massive fan of the miniguns over on Tribble. Not on this character, but when I've been on Tribble, that's what I use on my tactical. It's wonderful.
I have to figure out, now that we know the deadlines for free-to-play, I have to start my shopping list of what I need to craft and buy beforehand.
Yeah, before the prices all change and go up. Okay, it's the assistant lady again. She says, "He's gone. They took him and all the equipment. They were animals. They killed our team. You were supposed to protect us. You were supposed to keep us safe. Poor Robert. What will they do to him? What are they going to do now? Why didn't you protect us?"
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
We'll get it back.
Did we miss a dialogue, or was it not there anymore? There is a dialogue where after you go to the fight of the second room, your bridge calls you. Did we not get that?
It appeared in the middle of my fighting.
I didn't get one.
Ah, that's a key one. I have to fix that, then I have to tweak it. I don't know if we can go back and get it. What that basically does is the bridge calls you, and they sort of say, right after you beamed over to the other ship, all the power went out on the whole ship. everything went out, knocked the shields, sensors, weapons off. That's how the Klingons get on board. Is your entire power system goes dead, and your crew does bring it back online, and then starts fighting, and they've recaptured engineering, and they got the bridge and all that. So that's what makes sense. Of wait a minute, how did they get on your ship? That as soon as the power went.
We have retaken the bridge. Reports are coming in of injuries all over the ship, but all primary systems are back online. We need you on the bridge.
Take the turbolift to the bridge.
Well, I suppose that dialogue might have popped up. It's just that someone might have clicked it shut before we could...
That may be it. I got to figure out a way to... Maybe I'll figure out a way to do that so it fixes it. Maybe if I put it forward...
I think it would have been fine. It was just when, because I'm an engineer, I was placing everything, and so I wasn't in combat for a couple of... it went off of combat, and then I was just about to shoot someone, and it appeared, and then I shot someone and it disappeared.
You know what I think I'll do is I'll put a door out of cargo bay 2, so the only way to access it is to hear that thing before you get into the next combat. But that explains that basically a Klingon ship decloaks while your power goes out, and that's how they beam boarding parties up. Because everyone feels that their ship, of course, has a wonderful crack security team. So your security team does retake engineering quite quickly, and you're part of that retaking it. It really is just a ploy to get the cargo out of the ship.
I always love to talk
Captain,
to the ship.
The USS Nightingale has just dropped out of warp and is here to assist the wounded aboard the Raymond.
Very well.
Okay, Nightingale to ship. Captain, good work here. We are beaming medical teams over to the ship Raymond right now. We'll beam the most seriously injured to our sick bay and treat the rest on board. Our engineering teams are also heading over now to stabilize their life support systems. It looks like she'll hold together, but I'm afraid we will have to track her back to Starbase 114. She took quite a beating. Her crew survived today thanks to you. Nightingale out.
My thanks, Nightingale.
Sir, incoming transmission from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
Okay, Captain Mock of the Nightingale has appraised us of your situation. I don't need to remind you of the value of Dr. Maelstrom and his work to Starfleet. If the Klingons are able to utilize Dr. Maelstrom's tachyon waveforms, the result could be devastating for the Federation. It is imperative that Dr. Maelstrom or his work do not remain in Klingon hands. You are ordered to recover Dr. Maelstrom and his work at all costs. Starfleet out.
Understood. One quick thing, could that be that Dr. Maelstrom nor his work? Just so it sounds like we're trying to save one or the other. Sorry.
That's true. No, it's got to be both of them. They don't want to both of them.
Yeah.
Will that mean that his work is useless? Because...
No, it's like even if you get this equipment, if you've got him as a scientist, you could still force him to create the equipment again. You could use it. It's fallen into... You don't want any of it falling into enemy hands.
So just change it. Just add an N.
All right.
We have picked up the warp trail of the Klingon vessel that attacked us. It seems they are heading for the Omar system. Course plotted and waiting your command.
Engage. I love this where we all warp out at the same time. I'm sure we're going to crash though.
At least we're all going to the same map. I'm glad that problem has been solved.
Yeah. Especially if there's a battle on this next map. I think there is one, or you can skip it. I think you've added the option.
Well, this is where I started adding options to it, and I this is one of the things where you probably could break it if you go different ways. You can fight your way through this map, or you could plot your way through it. You could scheme your way through it. Of course, I have a cloaking device, so I could do whatever I wanted. But I was trying to add more options, give it more track, things that were, you would love to see. You don't have to fight every mission. Every solution is not, a loaded phaser bank.
Do we actually want to do Bitesize UGC soon?
Oh yeah, do you want me to play it now? I can do it now if you want. Because we've got one more transition left, because the next map is the last map, I think. So
yes.
So we should probably
do it now.
We'll play, but I'm sure Alamax 30 wants to see what they thought of his mission?
Unfortunately he's no longer in the chat channel. Yeah.
Oh well, he'll be able to catch the YouTube. It should be up on YouTube straight afterwards. So let's go play Bitesize UGC while we all just sit here and wait for whatever's going on. Yep. Okay.
Can we talk whilst it's playing?
Yeah. Sure. Hold on. I'll just start it up and then we can chat away.
Good evening and welcome to Bitesize UGC. I'm Rogue Enterprise and with me as always is Captain P.F. Dennis. The subject of our review this week is the City of Polmar Ree by Alamac 30. This is his second mission after months in the making. Let's jump right in with the story.
This mission centers around a mysterious and ancient culture that invites all sentient species to an intergalactic get-together every 216 years for a little mingling and some free advanced technology, all just a wormhole away.
This tale is told in about an hour, though it seems to move quickly and the objectives are clearly defined. The details that move the piece along are gathered throughout the mission by conversations with the other guests at the interspecies Soree.
The plot was not overly intricate, and some of the more pivotal information seemed a bit too easy to come by. Who knew getting a Klingon drunk could be so effective? Also, introducing a race that gives away free technology every couple of hundred years throws established canon for a loop. But the overall effect on the story was pretty minor, considering the marvelous execution. We gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
Moving on to map design. It is difficult to play this mission start to finish without stopping to marvel at your surroundings at least once. There are points at which you must literally pause to take it all in. Alamac advertises that it took months to complete, and one does not have to guess as to the reason. The evidence of dedication and attention to detail are everywhere. From a shimmering city in space to a multi-layered and transparent interior, you'll understand why we gave it 5 out of 5.
On the technical level, there are some fine examples of Alamac's expertise. Some effects were subtle and had us muttering wow and cool in several places. Some uses were more awe-inspiring, including running around an embattled starship and getting beamed to safety after free-falling down a turbolift shaft. It is further proof of just how well planned everything was. We had no trouble giving another 5 stars in the tech category.
Moving on to difficulty. To say that this mission was difficult would be grossly inaccurate. The few mobs that you do encounter are in the right place at exactly the right time. They are not terribly difficult to defeat, but they are necessary. Every challenge belongs just where it is. The battles were fun and not laborious. Another 5 out of 5.
And that wraps up our review of the City of Polmar Ree by Alamac 30. As you can see by the bite-sized breakdown, this one ranks high on our list.
Once again, support the Foundry by going and playing these missions for yourself. This has been Bitesize UGC.
Yep, we're back live again, hopefully, yep. So, I hope you enjoyed that review of the City of Polmar Ree, just by Alamac 30. Because it looked really impressive from the video. How about you? Have you seen it before?
Me, I have not seen that. I think it was on our list to review this week, which I'm going to see if it's still on our list, but I have not seen it.
I think it's getting a lot of attention now. It's going to be on Foundry Files tomorrow on Stoked. We're playing it next week for our live playthrough as well.
Yeah, that was a bit comical because when we decided on it and I was talking about it in the chat room, and Captain P.F. Dennis, no, it was Rogue Enterprise who was there, and yeah, so and he said he was going to do it, so yeah.
I think it will certainly get a hell of a lot of attention. For a wee while.
Okay, so we've just scanned something, and Bridge Officer is saying something. Sensors are picking up energy readings of a small Klingon base and several Klingon warships hiding among the asteroids. Red alert, or is there a way we could avoid them?
Shall we fight them?
Yes, let's just go fight.
You guys going pew pew?
Red alert, it's time for a paycheck, did you just say?
Time for a pay? What? payback, I think.
No, it's-
paycheck.
Oh, payback. Or the
It's time
paycheck.
for payback. They attacked
Take us
our
in.
ship. They took our scientists. We're paying back. I wanted to give a little pew pew option for those people who felt that they should go in fighting.
I flew into the raw. I hate the handling of this thing. Oh dear.
You pulled into another mob.
Yeah, the handling on my ship isn't that great.
What are you flying?
Yeah.
Excelsior, but it's kitted out weirdly.
How have you kitted out so the handling is so poor?
It's mainly because I've spec'd for fighting. It's just power to weapons is its main thing.
Well, hopefully when they redo the skill system, you've got a different chance to spec differently.
I mean, this used to be an absolutely killer build.
And what's the feedback been on the skills, on the new points? And
I don't know.
heard some
I like it.
I had to do the math, they force you to respec when you log in. The box pops up and says, you must respec. So I tried it out, but I ran out of skill points.
yeah, I had a little trouble trying to do it too, and just said whatever. I'll wait. See, I'm not a min-maxer. I don't know. I've only respect. I will say I've respect so few times that I think only twice. That finally they changed the UI so you know how many respect tokens you have.
Yeah.
And I think on Tribble I have 9 once I use my free one, because I will admit I'm looking forward to a change in the skills to simplify them, because I have found them relatively obtuse to use in the past. However, some people have said they sort of reduce things down. So I'm a little concerned about that, and I think I played.
But they did that for a reason, and that's so that people can't be awesome in everything. You've got to kind of. It makes things more challenging.
Can you be awesome in everything now?
Yeah, you can be.
Sort of.
To a certain extent, you can.
Because-
You
You
can
can
about
be
everything.
awesome in ground, or space, but not really both.
Well, yes and no. You can be. You can't be absolutely epically awesome at both, but you can be pretty damn good. What they were trying to do, and I remember it from one of the posts ages ago when they first talked about doing this respec, they said they wanted people to have to make a choice.
And I think they're changing what the choice is, like between your different skills you want to buff, rather than fixing you into a ship or a weapon type. I was just kind of weird how I'd spec up and then I'd move to another ship and then I'd, I forgot how to fly all my old ships or something,
Well, that's true, and I think that taking skill points away was weird. But here's my thing on it, and I'm not going to go because I don't know if it's good or bad. I can't tell because it's all numbers on it. But what I did find was it odd that you had to sort of be one thing or the other. Like the fact that an engineer could not get some tactical skills in hand-to-hand combat. I very much like the Champions freeform system where you can be a little bit of everything. Because, I mean, look at some of the characters you've got. You've got, like, Belana Torres. She's she's brilliant as an engineer, but she's also pretty good in a fist fight. You've got...
Oh, she's Klingon.
I know, but that's
Klingon.
my point, is that I would like a system, why can't you be like Janeway, a captain who is very scientific, but she's pretty kick-ass in a fight, but maybe not the most diplomatic person around. I'd rather see something where you could sort of pick these traits of your overall, and I think that's a little... I've never felt that in the Star Trek skill set. Now it seems very mechanical. You're good at your shields, you're good at this, but you can't be good at diplomacy. I mean, there's no skill that would give you a buff in doing diplomatic missions. There's no skills, scientific skills, that would give you a buff in getting anomalies. It would be. These are the things I'd love to see. That's either skills or buffs or things we're good at. Where Sorry, I'm just reading the dialogue that I wrote. It'd be kind of cool if you were a diplomatic captain that when you went on Diplo missions, you got a little extra Diplo points. If you were a Ferengi and you were sort of a scheming, maybe you get a little bit of more of EC. If you are a scientist officer, when you do, anomaly scanning, you get better anomalies or things like that. Everything is sort of geared towards starship operations in sort of the pew pew way. And that's kind of what I was like, there's no skills elsewhere for anything else. Your captain doesn't have the dimensionality that we're seeing with it. Like, again, B'Elanna Torres was a brilliant engineer and a great fighter, but she's not a diplomat. While Tom Paris was a swashbuckler, but certainly wasn't a scientist or an engineer. No one really ever asked Tom Paris to invert the tachyon pulse, because he just couldn't do it.
I always wondered whether they might be doing something. Well, they might do something similar to that with the DOF system, but extend it to your BOFs so that your bridge off. So that, like you're saying, B'Elanna Torres, she's a great engineer, but she's also pretty good in the fist fight. You could have that sort of thing. You could skill them not just in their specific abilities, but in sort of a generalized sense. I mean, in some ways, it could even be dumbing down your own captain's skill points and giving it more to your bridge officers, so that they are. So if you took a bridge officer with you who was a diplomat, that you would get extra diplomatic points on a diplomatic mission, that sort of thing.
That would be great. I would love to see an advantage to having a ship that wasn't necessarily a ship of war. This is what I was hoping. Like, if you change the DOF system to be a part of if you change the graphic system to be part of the DOF system, you could end up filling your ship with scientists and engineers, and you wouldn't get any bonuses in combat. But man, you could create things faster than other people because you had a ship full of smart people. This would not be a great piece.
And you could get if you were flying a science ship, you could go and collect more anomalies, get a bonus for collecting anomalies whilst in that science ship.
Absolutely. Have consoles that are geared for this. I have this whole idea of compartments for starships where you could put more compartments in a ship and do things like a shuttle bay that would give you more DOF assignments. Anyway, that's my only point, is that I would love to see the skills and ships and everything that allowed you to level as not a combatant.
An interesting chance. Yes, going to pull back on the leash there a bit. Sensors are picking up life signs of several Klingons and one human on the base. I suggest that we beam a heavily armed strike team to take the base and free Dr. Maelstrom.
Have the away team ready to transport.
Okay, so now we're taking one
shooter.
I noticed it said one human. Were you planning at one point to change Maelstrom to a different race?
I did. He was once a Betazoid, I think. He was some other race, and I changed him back because I don't remember the logic for it now, but I think I'm going to keep him as a human.
Yeah.
I think that there was an idea of having him be arrogant and being another race. It didn't work, and it didn't make you more annoyed with him, because then you just chop up, well, he's an alien. This is now, my real goal is to make him really, really annoying. All right, let's see who we've got beamed in. Of course, we have a BOF that has beamed into the other room. See, which is exactly the problem. So there's two ways to do this. Oh, how did this warrior get out here?
Oh, hello. Oh, it would be it's
Whoa!
Oh, he must have triggered the BOF. The BOF must have triggered.
I have never seen that.
Whoa!
All right, All right. See, this is a whack. There's two ways we can do this. If you go forward, we fight our way through. If we go through this room, we gas the whole place out and basically have limited resistance. That was my goal on this.
Should we read the ops first?
Mm-hmm. It says, Captain, I don't think the Klingons have detected us yet, but that won't last long. This access corridor should lead to the station's environmental control room to the main part of the station. My tricorder is showing multiple Klingon life signs ahead. Two options: it looks like a good day for them to die, or is there some way we could incapacitate them?
Can we do both?
I don't know.
You can't do both.
Oh.
Because there's actually most of the Klingon resistance has not been entered into the map yet.
Yeah.
And so your choice is we'll fire it. So if we go into environmental control, we gas
some
them.
way to incapacitate the crew.
Oh, well, we need to go in there because my bridge officer has gone in
Bridge
there.
officer is in there.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
Well, the truth is you don't actually. We can get your bridge officers out without gassing them, so we can just override the door lock and then clear this room out.
We didn't read the next bit.
Oh, wait a minute. Your boffs actually cleaned the room out. The 2 boffs have already killed everyone in it. There were some guys in here managing... what is this guy doing? He's sitting there over there. Wait. Oh, there's one Klingon left. There's one holdout who was hiding. Okay.
Didn't stand much of a chance.
All right, we still have the option. We can fight our way through, or we could gas them. So if you want to gas them, you got to find a console in here that's the right turn on the gas chamber. Well, it's anesthetized gas, so it won't kill them. Because it is Star Trek, you know. Oh, I'm sorry, it's my version of Star Trek.
Keep looking.
Online.
Keep looking.
This was another thing I'm going to rant about from now that we're sort of
I found it.
Going over it again. The 2 things I missed from Star Trek when I first started playing this was the hail button, and it was the stun setting. It's funny, I have yet to find a weapon that has a stun setting on it.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to stun.
No,
people rather than
they're
just run.
stun pistols. I've got a stun pistol now. It's I'm not sure what it is. It's
Yeah, you stun them until so that they're immobilized enough for you to kill them.
Stun them.
Quick question though. These
Yes.
chairs, were they here before? Or did you
They
place each
were.
one individually?
No, and this might be what I'm beginning to think. This might be what's messing my system up. See, this is a table here, and I've put these 2 extra things on, and I've collided them. You see, so it makes it look like sort of a console, doesn't it? It looks like
Yeah, it
stations,
does.
but I'm wondering if this is what's causing some sort of weird error. This is a conference table, and see the collision. See how these things are not? They're embedded inside. It looks great, pretty much, for it. But
nice
I'm
part.
wondering.
I
if this
really
is-
like this one that I'm just about to sit in. I mean, it's really quite beautiful.
But I'm wondering if this is what causes boffs to basically beam into this room. Because if you do this mission solo, all 4 of your boffs will beam into this room and start a fight in here. And it's just
I had a problem with this map.
you see, they start right over here. They beam in right into this where I'm standing, and it's like it's just driving me crazy because you see how many triggers I've put in.
I even managed to get them to follow me using waypoints, but as soon as I walked down this corridor, they teleported back to that corner.
Yes.
I remember
See?
playing with you now. Yes, yeah.
In fact, I'm going to take my boff and tell him. I'm not going to leave the team. Where's my boff? How come I can't control my boff? And that's funny. Why
It's
can't I
my
control
boff.
my?
Oh,
That's your
is
boff?
cool.
there's the team and it's my boff.
Oh my God! My boff. I have the same boff.
You have the same
Oh look!
boff. Oh, he
See the
disappeared.
boff just
He
disappeared.
He's back
Did
in
you
the
just see
corner.
that?
He's with me.
No.
This is quite cool.
All right.
The
So you
twitching.
come into here
Okay, I came back here.
now.
Oh, he's disappeared. He's gone.
All right. So this room is completely. Oh wait a minute. Are they?
They look like they're in agony. Are you sure?
They're
we're getting
completely-
the right gas.
They're completely gassed. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a problem. There's a mob over here which is not gassed.
Is that intentional?
That is no, and that's new because every mob worked fine on this before.
I
So,
think this happened
that's
when
a-
I was testing it before. I remember when I did the test and I accidentally triggered both things at the same time.
You did, and you triggered another mob, which was over here, but it was the one standing to the side here. So wait, there's
remember
two. Wait, no, this is 2 sets of mobs that are actually doing this. Because this room is actually filled with a lot of mobs, and I just got died.
I remember
And,
before when
just
I
heal
played
you.
this, though, this mob was in the platform, so it looks like they fixed that.
Maybe that was it, and I didn't re-trigger it. Okay, so if you didn't gas them, this room is really filled with mobs. Because I'm trying to make it so you can, fight pew pew, really if you want to do that, or go through it. So those mobs should have been not there. All right, so you got to keep going. But the pathing should, as they go down this hallway, will lose a buff into the other room as well. I like the way these guys squirm. I do like the way it's.
It looks like you're using the agonizer on them. You haven't gassed them. You've put them in.
Well, they're Klingons. They're trying to stay awake.
Sir, this area of the station is quarantined from the other sections. The anesthetizing gas did not make it into this area. There are several active Klingon life signs behind this door. We should expect heavy resistance before we get to Dr. Maelstrom.
Understood.
Now, I did, right before you guys... Well, here's the thing. The resistance was really bad. When I played this the other day, it was devastatingly bad. I had 2 mobs in here, and they just wiped the floor if you played with it. So I took it out right before I published this. We played it, and now it's a little wussy, I have to say. No, of course I died because I was... Of course my keyboard layout is wrong on this too. So now I'm wondering the balance here for the final thing is kind of not right.
Well, that's a freaky UI thing. What's going on?
You're attacking Dr. Maelstrom?
Yep,
What the?
we just killed Dr. Maelstrom. Oops. Oh dear.
Well, you killed him a little early. See this map? See, you weren't... He's supposed to be behind... Talk to Dr. Maelstrom. You're supposed to come over here. He's behind an invisible wall. No, you idiots! You've ruined everything. The Klingons were going to pay me handsomely in gold-pressed latinum for my research. It was a treasure worthy of me. I could have spent the rest of my life on the beaches of Risa, not tolling away in some laboratory for the ungrateful Federation. They've been taking my research for the betterment of the galaxy and rewarding me in return with ribbons and plaques. My brilliance repaid with mere trinkets. But now the Klingons are dead. My research has been destroyed in the fighting. There's nothing left. You have ruined me, Admiral. Ruined me.
This ends 2 minutes ago.
No, this ends. Do not say it ends.
Yeah.
And then the invisible walls come down, and you're supposed to fight. But it's because the Boff gets in here, he starts to trigger them off ahead of time. And
you did not get away with this.
He jumps out of the walls. So then you go scan.
And I remember you adding the fire effect to these things after the Klingons died. That's,
Right. So the idea is that as you fight this big battle in here, you basically trash all the equipment.
One statement comes to mind. Good job breaking it, hero.
Yes. The last time is Captain's total loss. The tachyon waveform decay. The tachyon waveforms have decayed, and the data has been erased. Dr. Maelstrom's experiments are lost. Greed and ego destroyed them. He could have created so much, yet everything was destroyed. A waste of a man and his work. Today, no one has prevailed. Augusta to away team, ready for transport. Let's get out of here.
So did you want that ending where sort of like no one prevails and...
Yeah, the idea was that he was just the greed, just destroyed everyone. Nobody got this brilliant invention. His greed just consumed it. It's totally... I mean, I love... one of my favorite episodes is the M5 from the original Star Trek Online, from TOS. You know, and ended up, even though his name originally wasn't Maelstrom, it was something else, the mission was called Maelstrom, and I called him Dr. Something, but it just ended up working out better. I renamed him. But which ties so closely into Daystrom, who I love, that sort of brilliance gone mad, you know, the scientist just out of control, and the fact that his ego was so much bigger than his brilliance. So yeah, that's my idea, that everything is a loss, it's a waste, and that the balance of power, we continue on our fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very Trek to have an ending where sort of it's not a super happy ending, but you know, you did something, but something was lost, or...
Well, on the failures of man. I mean, that's always what I thought Star Trek was about, was the failures of and exploring the possible failures of humankind and what issues we have. And I know that there's all these things about Gene Roddenberry. Does he portray humans as it? But I've always sort of thought that that's what Star Trek explores. You know, it's one of the things that you don't see in STO is these hot button issues. And you know, even when we talked to Kestrel the other day, she sort of said that they wouldn't touch it. I think something like this doesn't even touch a hot button issue, but it does sort of I don't know. That's why I did this script. I wanted to do something that sort of had it. I don't know. I don't know if it works. Of course, some of the technical problems in this map now have just been making me beat my head against the wall for months.
Well, maybe now you can show people the video and say, look at this. This happened.
Because this is a perfect example where I'd love to have a non-player character that you walk into and he gives you this speech and then you have the final battle. I mean, that's so dramatic.
We will be getting that with the
at this time,
the cutscene tool.
At this time, soon TM, you know.
At this time, it's coming.
Oh no,
soon.
we have a rough idea of when it's actually coming through. Well, I do. I've been speaking to H2O Rat.
Really?
Wait, what's that again?
You've been speaking to... Because
the cutscene tool.
Oh,
what's the rough idea?
What is the rough idea?
It's... What I can say is it is before Neverwinter comes out, but it's certainly after FTP.
So sometime in 2012 then.
Well, yeah, that's about 9 months because Neverwinter is slated for the end of 2012, and Free to Play is the beginning of it. So you're saying sometime next year.
That's all I can say. Mm-hmm. But he's really pushing for it. He really wants it to come out and it sounds amazing. The entire, almost all of the FTP trailer was done actually using the cutscene tool.
Yes, and this is something that I think we talked about a couple of episodes ago where I think most people said that they felt that wasn't the case, but I know that they've been talking about it. I think even Dan Stahl talked about it for some period of time. Cutscenes would be great. All of these people who say, oh, it's too much dialogue. There's many scenes that you could cut in. I mean, in this mission itself, when you talk to the assistant, you don't need that to be a dialogue. That could be a cutscene that you could sort of fly over that room. Even this last combat scene would be... I would love to see a cutscene. It certainly would help storytelling a great deal. The concern is just the time.
I think a cutscene would have been great for the final dialogue thing with Dr. Maelstrom.
Right. Well, as long as I could but then I would need to be able to insert a single character who is a fightable character. That's another thing that'd be very good for storyline. Is a mob made of one. It doesn't have to be, especially if you're going to reduce the amounts where you kill more than 30 mobs, it doesn't have to be so overpowered. If it's good for, it could be good for a story, but not good for a good combat mission. Just have that one thing.
Yeah,
so,
I really like that for one of my missions, Memory Lane, where we've got an NPC who follows you around and he's meant to be a tactical officer, so he's meant to join fighting with you, but, he doesn't even follow you around.
No, and I have no doubt that there are not tools that they are working on, and I have no doubt that the Neverwinter has a grab bag of great things that we could look forward to. It's the coming soon part. It's exactly how do you find soon.
Well, we'll be getting them before Neverwinter releases.
Well, that's still quite some time off. Again, there's lots of missions to be done in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that they are pushing for it, so they are on our side. Some of them are.
Well,
that is...
I think we could probably wrap up the show now. So.
Yeah, that's been the Altexist show.
The Altexist show. Yeah. I was actually looking forward to this show because of the lack of the podcast UGC this week. I knew that there'd be lots of stuff to talk about. And,
so why do you guys do it? You guys usually do it much faster? You guys just play through the mission?
No, sometimes it takes quite a while. I mean, usually the show's average is about 1.5 hours or something like that. So yeah.
So it took about this long, usually 1 hour to 1.5 hours. So we started about half an hour late. So it's about on time.
Yeah, so it's been quite a sort of normal kind of show, apart from the extra guests we've got. So that was episode 9.
Thank you for letting me
Yeah, no problem. That was episode 9 of Broadcast UGC. Thanks for everyone for watching. We reviewed Maelstrom by Altexist, and also Bitesize UGC reviewed The City of the Polmar Ree by Alimac 30. So, thanks for joining us. I'm Galactrix.
Thank you for our guest host too. Just thought
Well,
I'd
thank you guys for
officially-
playing it.
Thank you for joining us. Altexist and Cerberusfilms.
Thank
And next week we will be playing the City of the Polmar Ree. So tune in on Friday at 4 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. EST, midnight GMT, and 11 a.m. Saturday morning in Australia, 10 a.m. in Queensland.
Australian daylight time, so it's 10 a.m. for Queensland, and if anyone else is in Australia, well, you know how to calculate your time zones from that.
So that's it for me. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.